The city was alive with the hum of lights, the rhythm of footsteps, and the endless sound of people chasing time. But inside the quiet white walls of St. Luke's Hospital, time had almost stopped. Emily Saunders, the 23-year-old daughter of billionaire Richard Saunders, had just been told she had only 3 days left to live. Her rare heart condition had defied every doctor, every surgery, and every experimental treatment her father's endless wealth could buy. For all his power, he was helpless in front of the one thing money could never control: fate. That night, the world outside her window glowed in soft shades of blue and gold. The city looked alive, free, wild, untouchable. Emily watched the people below as they hurried home, couples holding hands, children laughing, streetlights flickering in puddles. She felt like a ghost trapped behind glass, a soul in a cage of luxury. For all her life, she had been surrounded by wealth, chauffeured cars, private tutors, silk dresses, but never warmth. She had never walked alone on a street, never eaten ice cream from a truck, never watched a sunset without a security guard beside her. Now, with 3 days left to live, she wished she could do something simple, something real: feel rain on her face, listen to laughter that wasn't forced, hear a song that came from the heart. Down on the street corner outside the hospital, a young man named Kyle Ramirez was singing under the glow of a flickering street lamp. His clothes were torn, his sneakers full of holes, and his guitar had only 5 strings left. He was 26, homeless for over a year after losing his job at a construction site when the company shut down. Yet every night, he sang. He sang about dreams, about hope, about finding light in the darkest places. The coins people threw into his open guitar case barely bought him a sandwich, but when he sang, he felt rich. Emily had been hearing his music through her hospital window for weeks. The sound floated up every night, soft, real, full of life. His voice reached her when nothing else did. While doctors spoke in clinical terms and her father drowned in silence, Kyle's voice made her heart remember what it meant to beat for something beautiful. On her second to last night, she asked her nurse, "Can I go outside for a while?" The nurse hesitated. Emily was fragile, her oxygen levels unstable, but there was something in her eyes that said this moment mattered more than medicine. Wrapped in a blanket, with her breathing tube hidden under her scarf, Emily stepped outside into the cool night. The air hit her face like freedom. She followed the sound of the guitar until she saw him, the boy who sang beneath the street lamp, smiling at strangers who never looked twice at him. When he saw her standing there, pale and trembling, he stopped playing. "You okay, miss?" he asked gently. She smiled weakly. "You're the one who sings every night." He nodded. "Yeah, the hospital crowd seems to like it. Makes the night feel less cold." Emily took a slow breath. "Your songs make dying feel less lonely." The words hit him like thunder. Kyle stared at her, speechless, then softly said, "Then I'll play until you feel alive again." And he did. He played song after song while she sat on the cold bench nearby, listening with closed eyes. For the first time in months, Emily laughed. It was soft and shaky, but real. Kyle didn't know who she was, he only saw a girl who looked tired but kind, fragile yet glowing. That night, when she went back to her room, she felt something stirring inside her, something medicine couldn't measure. The next day, her father came to see her. Richard Saunders was a man of iron and marble, stoic, sharp, always in control. He built empires with numbers and deals, but in front of his dying daughter, he was powerless. He sat beside her bed, trying to smile, pretending to believe the lies he told himself. "I've arranged another consultation," he said. "A specialist from Switzerland. He's flying in tonight." Emily shook her head. "Dad, I don't want any more doctors." Richard frowned. "You can't give up now. We have options." "No, Dad," she said quietly. "You have money. But I have time, and not much of it. I want to use it living, not fighting." He didn't understand. How could he? He had built a life where everything had a price. But Emily had discovered something beyond money, something in a street musician's voice that made her remember what it meant to be human. That evening, despite the doctor's warnings, she snuck out again. Kyle was there, as always, his guitar case open, his voice filling the air. When he saw her, his smile widened. "You came back," he said softly. "I couldn't stay away," she replied. This time, she asked him to teach her a song. Her hands trembled as she strummed the guitar, missing the chords, laughing at herself. Passers-by watched, a girl in expensive clothes sitting on the sidewalk, learning music from a homeless man. But neither of them cared. For those few hours, the world faded away. She wasn't the billionaire's daughter. He wasn't the boy with nothing. They were just two souls sharing one last song. Later that night, when Emily returned to her room, the nurse found her with a smile on her face. Her vitals were weak, but her spirit was strong. She fell asleep clutching a hospital notepad where she had written, "I felt alive today." The following morning, Kyle waited for her. He played the same tune, watching the hospital door every few minutes. She didn't come. When it started raining, he kept playing, hoping she'd appear. Hours passed. Still no sign of her. When night fell, a black limousine pulled up beside him. Kyle stopped strumming. The back door opened, and a tall man stepped out. It was Richard Saunders. His presence commanded silence. "You're the boy who plays here every night," he said. Kyle nodded cautiously. "Yeah, I sing for whoever listens." Richard's eyes softened for the first time. He held out an envelope. "My daughter wanted you to have this." Kyle's fingers shook as he opened it. Inside was a letter written in delicate handwriting. "Dear Kyle, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. But please don't be sad. You gave me something I didn't think I'd ever feel again, life. You showed me that love doesn't come from grand gestures but from small, honest moments. You gave me 3 days that meant more than all the years I lived before them. You told me once that music is what keeps you alive. So please, keep singing, for the people who have forgotten what it feels like to live. You saved me in ways you'll never understand. Love, Emily." Kyle's vision blurred. He looked up at Richard, who stood there, trying to maintain his composure but failing. His eyes were red, his jaw trembling. "She smiled before she left," Richard said quietly. "For the first time in years. Because of you." He offered Kyle a thick envelope full of cash.